Welcome, everybody, to this special emergency episode of The Hot Mic here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am one of your co-hosts. I'm the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by the man who co-hosts FYC and has got his finger on the pulse of entertainment and the Golden Globes, Jeff Sneider. How are you, Jeff?
I'm golden, Johnny. Just golden.
Jeff, so we've got ourselves, after a hiatus of a year because of all the drama around the Hollywood foreign press, the Golden Globes took a year off. Nobody wanted to go near it. Tom Cruise returned Golden Globes. A lot of drama around the Golden Globes. Well, they're back for one more year at least on NBC in the middle of the week, not on a weekend. And we've got a bunch of nominations that dropped today. And, in times past, and this, I'm sure, people listening might not know this, but the Golden Globes kind of steered the direction or maybe gave us an idea possibly of what the Oscar nominations might be. But we had a hell of a lot of films here that maybe weren't highlighted before in previous nominations and other critic circles nominations over the last few weeks get highlighted here, get nominations. We had some snubs as well as some surprises on the film and TV side. So when you look at the nominations overall, let's just start there. What's your overall thoughts when you look at the nominations as they were laid out this morning?
Who cares?
Oh, what are we doing this for if you say who cares, for God's sake?
Lower the volume because I think I'm echoing. But
Okay.
No, but listen, pundits and prognosticators, they use the Golden Globes as like a yardstick. And they say, this is their percentage in terms of predicting best picture, all that stuff. It's like, right. Basically going to someone on Thursday and being like, can you predict what tomorrow is? Like, they're right there on the finish line of the Academy race. I don't think there's no overlap between the voting bodies. So I really just don't see where the influence is other than it's just a stop along the publicity, tour campaign, basically. Yeah. But and they're full of shit, these people.
Okay, go ahead. All right. Yeah. All right. But doesn't it highlight certain films or certain performances or certain, certain songs, certain composers that maybe didn't get some attention in previous voting circles like the National Board of Review or the LA Film Critics or New York Film Critics or Boston?
None of these groups matter. They all magnify their importance and pretend like, oh, we're coming down the mountaintop and we have the answers to this year. Like, again, it doesn't matter what you say.
Okay.
That's why, that's the beauty of the Academy.
Yeah.
Because they're their own people.
Yeah, fair point. That's a fair point.
The idea, do we really think that some of these movies that win Critics Awards are even in the mix, that the Academy, they're even on their radar? They're not.
How would you, okay, so let me push back on that. How would you know that? Have you spoken to Academy voters? Have they told you this, or this is just your assessment, your analysis from the outside looking in?
I'm constantly talking to people within the Academy and stuff like that, but I would just say it's an analysis from the outside looking in. Just how many times do I have to point to someone who wins a Critics Award, right?
Yeah,
because they're trying to highlight the performance, right? But that's not who the best performance was, right? The Academy, for all of its flaws, has pretty good taste overall, and you can argue that if you want.
I could.
Yeah. I'll take the movies that they've anointed Best Picture over whatever group of winners critics would give it to, for sure.
I might disagree with you. We could probably do
you think that critics could pick a better list of movies than the Academy could?
Yes, I would say so.
Actually make movies for a living. That's insane.
Yeah, I would say so. I think critics, because I think critics have like you said, the outside looking in. You can't value your analysis when you're outside looking in some situation, then not value it in another situation.
This is so crazy to me. Did you see that Sight and Sound poll, John? Did you see the movies that they anointed?
Yes.
That's what would win Best Picture. That's what you're telling me. Whatever year Gene Dealman, number 23 at fucking apartment, who gives a shit? That's what would win the best, whatever year that was. Let's say it came out the same year as Singing in the Rain or Gone with the Wind.
Yeah.
That's what would win that year instead of those classic movies.
Yeah. Fair point. I think it's a case by case basis. And I also think, but I hear what you're saying. I totally understand. There are people who certainly feel the way you do, for sure. But let's get into these nominations, man. Let's get into some thoughts.
All right.
Other than who cares, were you happy? What's that? Should we drop them?
We're on the take.
Let's put it on the take. Oh, it's
If these
my
people
overall
are-
take. Well, look, I mean, I'm a little bummed out that there were no female directors. I hope that wakes the.
Why? Why are you bummed out? Why?
I think it's good to have representation here.
No, it's not.
And legitimate representation. And I think there was opportunities here, especially with She Said, which I think is one of the best pictures of the year. I think that director could have been nominated here. I think Gina Prince Bythewood certainly could have been nominated for The Woman King over a couple others. I think my point is that I'm trying to get to before you blow up is I think this should be more than 5. It should absolutely be a number that's a little bit higher than that.
What if there's 7 and it was still all men, John? What if there were 7 and it was still
then
all
that would be even more of a problem, in my personal opinion. That'd be even more of a problem because it's important. It's important to nominate the films.
It's not important. It's important to nominate the best people for the fucking job, John.
Yeah, but how do you know they're the best fucking people?
That's
It's these fucking people decide they're the best fucking people.
Of the voters, John.
Yeah, but they're the ones who decided who the best fucking people. But that may, to me, I'm like, that doesn't, the inherent implication is every single award show has always nominated the best people, which we know is horseshit because a lot of people of color were not involved in those fucking voting bodies. We're not allowed to be a part of the white-owned process. And we're not allowed to have their voices heard for their content.
I disagree with your implication that if there'd be more black people would win. That's
I didn't say black people. I said people of color. Stop marginalizing.
Doesn't matter we all know what you're fucking talking about anyways. Why are we speaking in fucking code?
I'm not. I'm talking about Latinos, talking about Asian cinema, talking about there's a lot of cinema that has existed.
You're saying that these people of these whatever race they are, they're there to vote for other people of that race.
No. I'm saying that by opening the doors to more points of views, more people are going to take. More people are going to look at that situation and give their. I'm not saying black people will only vote for black movies.
That's what HFPA did this year, John. It invited members and members of color. Did it matter?
Yeah. Well, in some ways, yes. In some ways, no. Absolutely. I think that's a fair situation when you look at it because clearly there were no female directors nominated. And you have to ask yourself,
what was the leader? What was the leader on the TV side, John?
I don't know. Banshees of Inisherin led the film. What was leading the TV?
It was Abbott Elementary.
Abbott Elementary, right?
A show from a black woman. So it's just like the argument, like, oh, they're racist when it comes to the film nominees, but not the TV nominees. It's fucking preposterous.
So you're telling me
bad guys directed good movies and deserve nominations.
So you're telling me that. But what I'm telling you is that isn't always the case, and I think there's nothing wrong with opening the door. And I think there isn't anything wrong.
We're talking about these fucking nominees.
Right.
I don't care about history. I don't care what's going to happen in the future. I don't care what happened in the past. Okay. This is the voting body for this year. These are the people who voted. These are the 5 nominees. Why is this racist? Because there's no women.
Who said there's no racist? It's not racist. It's sexist. Yeah.
Sexist.
I'm saying at the end of the day, I think there are female nominees that should have been considered, should have gotten nominated. That's my point.
They
not
were considered.
Tokenism. Not tokenism.
They
I think they deserved it. That's the difference.
They were considered.
Yeah, I know they were considered and they were voted on.
So what's
my point is, I think it's bullshit. That's my point. I think it's bullshit. So
listen, I'm with you in that I thought Maria Schrader did the best job.
She did a fantastic job.
I thought Maria Schrader, hands down, like, I'm sorry to Gina Prince Bythewood, and who directed more. Like she did, that may be more deserving of a nomination, but she said it's a better movie, right? It's not a flashy directorial thing in the way that Baz Luhrmann's Elvis was, you know what I'm saying? So like, you have to take these things into account. You can't just say in a vacuum, like these things matter. Yeah. So while I agree with you that I thought Maria Schrader maybe directed one of the top 5 films of the year, top 5 dramas anyways. Yeah. I can't get mad that she was left out because it's kind of subtle work and Woman King should have been fucking better. It was good. Wasn't great. Didn't need a nomination. Not upset there.
Viola Davis was good, and she did get nominated. So,
by the way, we're all talking about Sarah Polley anyway. Sarah Polley was so undeserving of a nomination this year; it's insane.
Yeah, you didn't like women talking. I know that. Yeah, it wasn't your bag.
So, like, when everyone's like, "Well, there should have been a woman. There should have been a woman," and what they're really saying is, "Why wasn't Sarah Polley nominated?" Mm-hmm. They totally snubbed women talking anyway.
I think what you've got to understand, it's a more nuanced conversation. It's not like we need tokenism. What they're saying is there's an issue here that there's a consistent pattern of this shit happening all the time. This needs to stop. What is the situation here? Because you can't tell me there haven't been deserving female nominees who were not nominated in previous years, and including this year. If we want to just focus on this year. So if you know that, then you know there's something inherently wrong in the system. And that's what you've got to address. And I do think bringing in younger people, bringing in women, bringing in people of color, that's going to change the overall point. It doesn't mean they will vote for their own identifying, identity politics person. It doesn't mean that. It just opens the door to the possibility for more.
Listen, I'm with you on that. They should bring in more people. But when you're saying, I feel bad there wasn't a woman nominated, why?
Yeah,
why?
Because I think there were deserving nominees that are female that were kept out of this thing. And I think it was a bit of chauvinism. Yes.
Serving male directors who also weren't nominated.
Sure. But that doesn't apply when all the other when male directors did get through. It doesn't apply if nobody gets through versus some of them getting through. That's not a balance.
Well, hopefully next year we'll have a lineup of all, women and people of color, and that'll just balance the scales.
I think we should have, look, if you're going to open the doors to allow more women and more people, not allow even to uplift, to give access to create avenues for more women, people of color to come in and direct these films, and they kick ass and they still aren't getting nominated, that's an issue. That's an issue that needs to be addressed.
If they kicked ass, they'd be nominated, John.
That's not true. That's not always true.
It's not always true because there's 5 fucking slots and there's maybe 10 great movies for 5 slots. So hard choices need to be made. And if The Woman King was one of the top 5, it would be fucking nominated. It wasn't. Yeah.
That's your opinion.
I don't know how you can argue with this logic.
You can absolutely argue because it's just your opinion, and opinion is arguable always.
I'm not even talking about my opinion. We're talking about the opinions of the voters. That's what it reflects.
Any opinion can be argued. That's the thing about an opinion. Gallia Production says, seeing you two dorks yelling at each other is more entertaining than sitting through an award ceremony or Oscar film. Yeah, they should let us co-host the Golden Globe Award. Cena Nerd Podcast says, Rocha and Sneider about to go skip and Shannon. That's for fucking sure.
All right, let's talk about some of these nominees.
Let's get into
the drama, the 5 nominees for drama.
All right, let's. This is what I'm going to share the screen because I think it's just easier. I did make graphics, but the graphics are so annoying, so I'm just going to share the screen here. Best motion picture drama here: Avatar, The Way of Water, Elvis, The Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick.
Okay, let's do a will win, should win.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, let me take the graphic down too because I think it's there we go. Go ahead.
Okay, will win. Ooh, what do you think will win here? It's a tricky group to.
Oh, I think the Fabelmans absolutely wins here. I think absolutely because it's a voting body that still loves to highlight the more famous people, and this is Spielberg, and this is Michelle Williams, and this is a story about Spielberg becoming a filmmaker. I think Bardo is a much better film than The Fabelmans when we're talking about director's journey or whatever, but I know it didn't connect with other people like The Fabelmans, which is a nice middle of the road, make me feel good, nostalgia, sepia tone film about becoming a filmmaker. Fine. But I think they're going to go with a safe choice here. I'd be shocked if Avatar wins. I'd be even more shocked if Elvis wins. Tar might be an outside chance. No way Top Gun Maverick wins with Tom Cruise not being nominated and returning 3 of those Golden Globe awards.
I'm going to throw out a crazy prediction and say Tar wins.
Really? Okay.
Precisely because of what we're talking about, where there's a lack of maybe female-fronted movies or nominees or directors this year. I can see a lot of women in the HFPA voting for Tar.
So wait. So let's now analyze Jeff Sneider's intelligence in this moment and analysis, because Jeff just told me that if these people vote on it, then it's absolutely valid and they won't go identity politics. But if they go identity politics with this and give it to Tar because women were nominated, it somehow makes Tar more valid because they What the fuck are you talking about, dude? That's pretzel logic.
I don't understand. They're totally things in a vacuum.
But you're saying that if we allow more women to be, or if more women come into a body and vote, then it doesn't necessarily mean that women are going to vote for a certain film. That's what you said, right? But here's the other thing: if targets vote on,
because you're arguing that they will.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. You're telling me,
but then I'm agreeing with you, is what you're saying.
You're contradicting your point of view that you had earlier when you said
it's a matter of circumstance, John. It's a matter of that's the other thing. People this shit is in competition. It's one of 5. You're not competing against societal pressures or other movies from women. It's these other 4 movies.
Right. But you're saying every time every time a film wins, it's a valid film because these people voted on it.
Yes.
But you're saying you're saying now you think
but
women
I'm
will
not saying
vote for
should
Tar.
only have female people voting
But
for
you
it.
think women will vote for Tar as a protest and not having more female film directors? Doesn't that invalidate it?
Because I think that Tar speaks to women more than fucking Top Gun Maverick. What are you fucking talking about, John?
I'm saying to you, but you said you didn't explain that. Now, if that's your explanation, your reasoning, then okay.
Then ask for the explanation next time. It's like you're just extrapolating things based on the fucking nothing.
I'm analyzing. That's what I do.
Top Gun and Avatar cancel each other out. I don't think that they go for Elvis, and so it's Fabelmans versus Tar for me, and I'm gonna guess Tar.
Yeah.
What do you think would win? What would you vote for?
I would go with these 5. I would go Top Gun Maverick. To be honest with you,
Top Gun Maverick gets our view.
Yeah. That would be my choice for sure. All right, let's move on here to best performance by an actress in a motion picture drama. You got Cate Blanchett in Tar, Olivia Colman in Empire Light, which is really surprising considering how negative that movie is being reviewed. Viola Davis in The Woman King, Ana de Armas in Blonde, another negatively reviewed film, and Michelle Williams in The Fabelmans. What are your thoughts here?
Let me ask you one question. Have you ever read a review from anyone in the HFPA?
I'm sure. Yeah. Young Chavez. Yeah, of course. She's one of the HCA board members. Of course.
You read her review on Empire of Light?
Yes.
You're such a liar. There's not a fucking chance that you read her review of Empire of Light.
Would you like me to bring it up and read it to you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You know what? I'd love you to even find it.
Why are you?
Think that
what does
you
this
know
mean?
for a fact whether it exists or not?
What does this mean, though? What are you trying to get at?
Okay, so I will tell you. The point that I'm trying to make there is when you're like, I'm surprised Olivia Colman gets nominated when critics didn't like that movie. First of all, the critics that you and I are reading or following on film Twitter don't vote for the HFPA. Number 1. Number 2, she's beloved overseas. Number 3, critics are wrong about Empire of Light. Have you ever thought of that? Did you ever think that the critical consensus could be wrong?
Of course, I always think that. Like when people like you say Green Book was good and everybody in FYC thought Green Book should have been Best Picture. Yes, critics are wrong a lot of the time.
And then it wins.
Which is of course it does. It's like safe film.
When I brought up Olivia, I mean, listen, I think that Olivia Colman, I'm not going to say she's a lock for an Oscar nomination because she's not. Because the truth is, this is the fucking best thing that could have happened to Danielle Deadwyler. The best possible thing.
Oh, you think this helps her from Till? Danielle Deadwyler from Till?
Okay. Who gives a shit if she gets a Golden Globe nomination? Nobody gives a fuck. But they care if she's not getting a Golden Globe nomination. That's what they fucking care about. It's the outrage. It's the fact that she's in all the headlines with all the snubs alongside Tom Cruise and whoever else was fucking snubbed today, okay?
Right.
I think that this helps her, and I think that she's going to get an Oscar nomination, if not because of this snub, then obviously because of her fine work by all accounts.
What about Keke Palmer and Nope? You don't think she deserves it?
Why didn't she get the nomination, if you're wondering? It's because no one has seen fucking Till. No one wants to watch Till. I'm a professional movie watcher. I've seen 200 movies this year. I don't want to watch fucking Till.
It's a good movie.
I have no interest.
I hear you.
Does that make you a bad person? I don't care.
I don't know. It's odd. I don't know how I feel about that because I always go back and forth on that situation. Your job, if your job is to be a film critic, it's not your job to be a film critic, by the way, but it is part of your job. And especially if you're a co-host on a show like FYC, you would imagine you'd have to have all the knowledge of all the films that have come out that could be in contention, and you have to watch them so you can speak about it knowledgeably. I would push back and say you should.
And if she gets nominated, I'll see that movie before the Oscars. You have my word. But have I been in a rush to see it? And I may even see it before the end of the year, just for top 10 consideration, because Perry and Scott really love it. But it has no appeal to me. It's not something I want to spend my night watching.
Is it because it's
I suspect that voters feel the same way.
Is it because about a tough subject, or is it because of something?
Yes, of course.
Fair enough.
I didn't watch fucking Schindler's List when that came out either. It took 12 years.
Yeah. Well,
Greg Albert just great mood for Schindler's List. It's not like, I got 3 hours on a Thursday night.
You're 100% right. I'm not going to disagree with you. You're 100% right. You got to be in the mood for films like that. We just saw One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I've watched that film 3 times in my life because it affects me way too much. It's a difficult film to watch for me because it asks a lot of you when you're watching it, for sure. All right, who do you got winning this one?
Cate Blanchett. Okay. And she should win as well. You?
Yeah, I think Cate Blanchett, odds on from all the analysis. There's no way she doesn't, I feel like. All right, let's move on to best performance by an actor in a motion picture drama. Austin Butler, Elvis, kind of a surprise there for me. Brendan Fraser, The Whale. Hugh Jackman, The Son, that's the real surprise. Bill Nighy in Living, and Jeremy Pope in The Inspection. That's a kind of small film that no one seems to be talking about. Over on the HCA, our president, Nikki Fowler, put it out there to kind of encourage people to watch it before we did our votes, which we just did over the weekend for some of these awards. So that's really nice to see that. Well, God damn it keeps moving up. Really nice to see that Jeremy Pope got nominated. So your thoughts here as you look at this performance. And I mean, is Tom Cruise missing from this list?
Is Tom Cruise missing? Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, Hugh Jackman in The Sun.
Yeah.
I was just surprised by that one. I haven't seen The Sun or Living, so I can't really speak to those performances. I think what you have to do here is give it to Brendan Fraser. I realize that he's called you out. He's not going to attend the ceremony. You know, I almost think it's like this is like the apology. If you really think Austin Butler deserves it, like I guess I can see that, but I cannot imagine that they're going to give it to him over Brendan Fraser.
No, I think you have. If you're a voting body that is really trying to repair this relationship, I think you and look, he made the accusations that he was groped by a former president. That person denied it, but it clearly scarred him for quite some time. But you got to be honest with your assessment, and it's not about personal pride and fucking issues. You're supposed to be honoring the best performance. And aside from politics, aside from your issues with that, with whatever happened, you got to vote for the best person. And to me, Brendan Fraser is the best person in The Whale's incredible performance. So you have to give it to him. And I think it's magnanimous of the body to do that. And it looks good. And I think it says that they're going past their own petty issues with it. And they're rewarding the person that they truly believe delivered the best performance, whatever their issues are with that person.
Maybe Bill Nye is an outside contender because I've heard he's amazing in Living. You know?
I haven't seen that yet.
But like Austin Butler, he was amazing in the last 5 minutes of that movie.
Yeah.
I don't know about the other 2 hours.
Well, I liked him in that. You're insane.
He was good. He's going to win an Oscar. That's not Rami Malek. That's not Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oof, better than Bohemian Rhapsody. Best motion picture, musical, or comedy. Let's move on to there. Babylon, The Banshees of Inisherin, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Glass Onion, and Knives Out Mystery, Triangle of Sadness. I'm going to tell you something I think is going to make you mad. First of all, I don't think Elvis is a drama. It's a damn musical, but whatever. I got Banshees here, no doubt. I'm surprised Babylon got nominated with some of the negative reviews I've seen. But I'll tell you what's missing. Ticket to Paradise is missing. That is a fantastic film. Bros is missing. That is a fantastic film. And I'm sad to see it not make the list here overall. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, is Everything Everywhere All at Once a comedy?
Yes and no. I mean, you could argue both ways for sure. There are some funny moments, but overall it's a, dramatic story of a family breaking apart and then coming together.
Yeah, I didn't really see that as a comedy, even though there's comedic moments in it, just like there's dramatic moments in Babylon. I did think Babylon was a comedy. I think it'll be Banshees of Inisherin as well.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of support Everything Everywhere would have with the HFPA.
There's a groundswell for sure amongst critics, but is that going to be enough to push it across the line over Banshees? Banshees seems to be something that just seems like a darling. You know what I'm saying?
You find that Young Chavez review yet?
No, we're doing this, for God's sake, in the middle of the show. We only have you for limited time. So, all right, let's move on. Best performance by an actress in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Leslie Manville, in Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Margot Robbie in Babylon. Anya Taylor-Joy in The Menu. Emma Thompson in Good Luck to You, Leo Grant. And Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once. What do you think of this?
Michelle in A Cakewalk.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you see Good Luck to You, Leo Grant?
Yeah, Emma Thompson was great.
Yeah.
Tough competition with Michelle and Margot there. And Margot, I thought was pretty good in Babylon. But I just feel like if they're not, especially if they don't give Everything Everywhere Best Picture, this is how they honor that movie.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I thought she was fantastic, rather, Margot Robbie. She's certainly great. I think this is absolutely Michelle Yeoh's category to win for sure. All right, let's move on to best performance by an actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. Diego Calva in Babylon, which I was really surprised by. Daniel Craig in Glass Onion, not because he didn't deserve it, because I just didn't think he would get nominated. Adam Driver in White Noise. Colin Farrell in The Banshees of Inisherin, and Ralph Fiennes in The Menu.
This isn't even worth discussing. Colin Farrell, all the way. This is the biggest blowout I've seen so far.
Really? Okay.
There's no competition here. Zero.
Anybody missing that you think should have gotten consideration?
Doesn't even matter, right? Because like it's him. It's him no matter what.
All right, fair enough. I mean, it's nice to get a nomination. You've never been an actor. It's nice to get a nomination, Jeff. Just throwing it out there. All right, best motion picture animated: Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Inu-Oh, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, which Jeff just absolutely hates, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, and Turning Red, which is, by the way, the only I think she's the only female director to be nominated. What are your thoughts here on these five choices?
I had a feeling that Inu-Oh was sort of the indie movie to like keep an eye on. For the 5th slot in this thing. Haven't seen Pinocchio yet.
What?
It seems like it's definitely going to win. I want to watch that one. Like, it was between that and the Binge 2 for me this weekend. I went with the Binge 2. Big mistake. Big mistake.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, it's really good, Jeff. It's really good. I know we battle, but I'm telling you, it's so fucking good.
Did they send you a little marionette, a little Pinocchio puppet?
I don't know. Maybe they sent me a box, but I forgot to post it and take a picture, which I should do sometime this week for sure. But yeah, I'm sure they sent. I don't know if they sent me a thing, but it would be nice.
No, I'm just waiting for all the members of the Critics' Choice Association to post photos with their Pinocchio dolls, which are $275 a pop, by the way. And
are they really?
They are, and the Critics' Choice prohibit gifts over $100, so maybe it's $50 even. So I can't wait to try to get some people expelled this week.
You still have to sell. I still have to sell my gold scissors from the Us situation. Anyway, Stephen Turner says rooting for Michelle Yeoh for the Oscars because she was phenomenal in the film. She would only be second woman of color to ever win the lead after Halle Berry. Yeah, that's kind of crazy, to be honest with you.
She could do it.
I would love her.
Again, just running into a fucking phenomenon with that Cate Blanchett performance.
Yeah, I guess so. Let's see. We got a Streamlab that came through real quick before we jump on the next category. Doug Developer says, as an Asian film fan, I think Ke Huy Quan delivered a much better performance than Gleason did. However, as much as I really want Yeoh to become the first Asian lead actor or actress to win an Oscar, my head says Blanchett was better. Who would be your picks? We just talked about that. Thank you, Doug. Appreciate that.
I love Ke Huy Quan, though. He was amazing.
Yeah, which we'll get to in a second. All right. I don't know why the thing is doing what it's doing. Anyway, all right. So where are we at here? Yeah, okay. Best motion picture. We did the best motion picture, non-English language. Have you seen these? All Quiet on the Western Front, Argentina, 1985. Close.
The only one I saw was Close.
Huh?
Close was the only one I saw.
Okay. And?
I have no idea what wins here. I'm going to go with All Quiet on the Western Front, although, obviously Triple R and Decision to Leave are strong corrects. That's a stacked category.
It is. Triple R, I think, probably has the inside track, but All Quiet on the Western Front was incredible. It's on Netflix now, ladies and gentlemen. You all need to watch that. All right, best performance by an actress in a supporting role in a motion picture. In any motion picture. I love that. Angela Bassett in Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Carrie Condon in The Banshees of Inisherin. I was so happy she got nominated because I loved her in that movie. Jamie Lee Curtis in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Dolly DeLeon for Triangle of Sadness. She just won recently. Dolly DeLeon did. And Carey Mulligan for She Said. So at least Carey Mulligan got nominated from She Said, if not the picture or the director. So looking at these 5 performances, Jeff, what you feeling about them, and who do you think is going to win?
All right. I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Okay. Do it.
I'm going to say Dolly DeLeon wins.
Really? For Triangle of Sadness, huh?
Yeah. When I look at those performances, I mean, obviously Carey Mulligan is like a co-lead, but like,
in essence,
she was good. She was nothing special in that movie, I didn't think. Jamie Lee Curtis, what? You thought she was like that was a special performance?
You thought Carey Mulligan? Yeah, I thought Carey Mulligan delivered an incredible performance. Yes, I do.
No. That was like kind of just like I'm playing a journalist 101.
Okay.
Didn't see. I mean, I've seen her.
She's dealing with postpartum depression. She's dealing with the situation with her husband and her kids. She's dealing with trying to lock these women down. She's having these back and forths that are with the editors, with Harvey. That scene where they go silent, where she is in the room, that was the scene. I looked to my girlfriend after that scene. I was like, that's going to get her the nomination if she gets nominated.
She was good. There's no
nonverbal acting is incredible in those movies.
I love She Said. She was very good.
Yes.
I don't know if it's award worthy. Angela Bassett and Jamie Lee Curtis, I don't think either of those are necessarily award worthy. They're nomination worthy, but not award worthy. So it's really between Carey Condon and Dolly for me.
Wow.
And Carey Condon kind of has the same like thing as Carey Mulligan, where like, she's very good. I thought she was like maybe the best one in Banshees, but it's not a flashy role the way that Dolly is. Like you just think of that movie, she just dominated. She dominates that third act. I think it's enough to win.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Stephanie Hsu is the one missing here. I think if she had been nominated, she would be my choice. I go Carrie Condon. I just think she's fantastic in that movie, and I don't think the movie works without her. To be honest with you, you need her energy in that film as kind of this bridge between those two, and her frustrations with both, and her journey. They do enough in that movie to really connect you to her journey, so that when what happens, you really feel that. So I think she's
her winning. I mean, I thought she was really very good.
Yeah, me too. All right, let's move on to best performance by an actor in a supporting role. Brendan Gleeson in The Banshees of Inisherin, Barry Keoghan in The Banshees of Inisherin, Brad Pitt in Babylon, Ke Huy Quan in Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Eddie Redmayne in The Good Nurse. Kind of a surprise.
Short. No, The Good Nurse is like one of the top 12 movies I've seen all year. It's
wow.
Great.
Okay. Not yet. No.
Oh, he's really good in it. But this is short round all the way in a cakewalk.
Yeah, I think Ke Huy Quan wins. But some people have been complaining, Jeff, that Judd Hirsch and Paul Dano canceled themselves out. But how can you say that when you have Barry Keoghan and Brendan Gleeson being nominated in the same category? They're trying to kind of explain away why those two weren't nominated. Could just be that the voters didn't think they were that fucking good in that movie.
Critics grasping at straws, critics grasping at straws.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the best director here. This is interesting. James Cameron for Avatar: The Way of Water, the Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Baz Luhrmann for Elvis, Martin McDonagh for The Banshees of Inisherin, Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans.
So, John, who are you taking out for Maria Schrader?
You're going to hate me for this, but I would take Spielberg out for Fabelmans. I didn't think it was that great. I didn't think it was. I haven't reviewed it. I haven't put my review up yet, but I thought it was good. But I've seen better from Spielberg, just like you said about Carey Mulligan. I've seen a better directed Steven Spielberg. There are quite a few, actually, that are better than Fabelmans. So I would take him out, or I might take out Baz, to be honest with you, because I think he does a great job directing that movie. But the Tom Hanks stuff, that's a director's responsibility, too, is to get a good performance. And Tom Hanks is weird in that movie, and not in a good, interesting, eccentric way, more like a what is happening here kind of way.
Right, so listen, I'll give you the Spielberg of it all.
Yeah.
But you can't expect them to not nominate him and to nominate someone like Maria Schrader, who has almost no profile.
Wait, I thought you told me that these people vote on it from their actual legitimate beliefs.
And they did.
Okay.
Clearly, clearly they liked the Fabelmans more than she said. But
so is that true, or like you said, do they just expect Spielberg because they just feel impelled or compelled to vote for Spielberg to get attention for the award ceremony?
I mean, that could backfire if Spielberg's like, I'm not coming to the ceremony.
Yeah, that's true. And that's another part we haven't addressed. It's very possible that some people might not show up to the ceremony.
Oh, for sure. Dude, normally the phone's ringing off the hook with Golden Globe reactions and how excited people were for their nominations. Yeah. You don't see the trades do that shit anymore because nobody calls because nobody fucking cares.
Yeah, fair point.
But Baz Luhrmann, but how do you... I get that you may not like Elvis. That's a matter of preference. But he fucking Luhrmann the shit out of that movie. It's just you can just see him fucking working and grinding. I can't expect them to go with Maria Schrader and her very subtle, restrained effort.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think Banshees of Inisherin has that slot. Martin McDonagh, what he did with that film, it probably takes the She Said slot for sure. I don't disagree.
Todd Field didn't even get nominated, which is why I don't know if Tar actually, wins Best Picture like I had predicted earlier. But.
Do you think Maverick is a snub here? Do you think Kaczynski's a snub?
No.
$1.5 billion, man. People
I mean, I think he did an incredible job, but I don't know who you take out for him.
Yeah, fair point. But this is my point. I think the category needs to expand to 10. It's got to go to 10.
It doesn't, because then it makes it less special. Do you understand that?
That's ridiculous.
John, what is it? You want to give everybody a participation trophy? How many nominations would be? 10,
5 extra people is not a fucking participation territory. You know what? They added wild card teams to every fucking year in all those fucking sports. Does that make it any less special that you win a Super Bowl or you win a World Series?
What is that about? What is that decision about? You think that's about inclusion?
No, it's about money.
Yes, exactly.
But it's also about expanding the game because you've got more people who play it. You've got more. So you want to have people in here who are talented, who've been kept out, to be allowed to have access. So I think this is important. Listen, don't get it diluted. This stuff has always been about Hollywood kissing its own ass and awarding its own people. And there's nothing wrong with that.
If you were a filmmaker,
everybody has that.
What? If you were a filmmaker, John, would you rather that they open up the category to 10 and so and you get nominated?
Yes.
Or would you just rather keep it to 5 and like, you know, and then what if you get nominated then? Then it's even like, it's twice as special. You know what I mean?
It doesn't matter. Nominate me 10, 5, 15, 20. I don't give a fuck. Guess what I get to put on my resume? Oscar-nominated director. Guess what I get to bring into a room to negotiate? My agent to negotiate with a studio. Oscar-nominated film.
That's a participation trophy, basically, what you're describing.
It's not. You've got to increase. I mean, they're cheating by doing drama and musical comedy. They're in essence nominating 10 best picture films.
Let's say what's the difference? 10. Let's say there's 10, 15, 20. What if it's all men then? How many do we have to expand to until we get to the best directed female movie of the year?
But I'm saying it would highlight even more how much of a problem it is if there's 10 and there's still no women or people of color involved. That makes it even more of a fucking issue that you need to address. That's what that is.
I think you also have to understand that women aren't just handed awards contenders and prestige films off the bat, right? A lot of these people, like a Todd Field, have been directing for 20, 25 years. And so then they get the cachet to do whatever they want, which is make a $35 million movie that grosses $3 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of women, we're opening the door for them, right? And we're hiring them on, other, studio projects, and they're starting to make a name for themselves. But it doesn't mean that they get to go make those sorts of passion projects right off the bat that often lead to nominations.
But you can't tell me that there isn't an inherent misogyny or sexism, that it's just all men who seem to direct these big projects. It's all men who seem to jump from doing an independent film to all of a sudden directing a massive, huge film. That's not. There's an issue there. Just like you're telling me, all the white coaches in the NFL for decades, they just happen to be the better choices. Bull fucking shit. You've got to create access, and then you've got to take chances and give them these opportunities. That's how things advance, man.
And that's why John and I are both grateful that Fox Searchlight is taking a chance on young newcomer Taylor Swift and her directorial debut.
Please don't get me started on that. I'm going to get myself in trouble on that, so I don't want to talk about it.
We all are so happy for Taylor Swift.
I love the pushback on that. Not from hatred of Taylor. That's whatever you feel is it, but the legitimate complaints that there are independent filmmakers, female or male, who would have really benefited from having a little bit of spotlight on them and on their projects, being a part of that director or on directing series. There's no way that isn't a popularity thing. There's no way. I don't care how many music
popularity thing. What's another word for popularity?
Money.
Business. It's a business decision.
You're right.
She's going to put butts in seats more than some filmmaker you never heard of, but who really wants a chance and earned it.
Possibly.
That's fucking life. It's unfair. This isn't a fucking charity, dude. This is a business, this town.
Yes, I know it is. I'm the first one that says that, Jeff. You know that. I've said it multiple times when we were doing movie talk. Best screenplay.
People are right in the sense that it is a business, and Todd Field just directed a movie that flopped, right?
Yes.
And he's going to get another chance.
Right. Exactly. It's just like,
and that's
just like black coaches used to get one shot. Now it's not as much, but it used to be in the past. One shot, that's all you get. We're going to give you a crappy team because no one else wants to hire you in a good team. Let's see what you can do. And so, it's those kinds of situations where the deck is stacked. And that's what I'm saying about why it's important to highlight and nominate from disenfranchised communities, people like this, because don't get it twisted. These are nominations, or like you just said, Jeff, nobody fucking cares. Artists care. It opens the door and allows people who are coming into the world of film and love film to maybe explore that director or that actor or that producer or that writer or composer and see their work and be moved by their work. And that gives them more attention to be taken more seriously the next time they do a project. It fucking matters.
Dude, there's one thing about letting—
it's always popularity contests. It always has been. It always will be. For God's
sake. It's just always one thing. It's like, okay, well, we need to give people opportunity. Okay, they make their movies. Well, now we're not giving them enough promotion. We have to, market and promote them. Okay, yeah. Well, now we need to nominate them for awards and everything too. It's just like, well,
Just like you did for white men for decades. Yes. Welcome to the fucking party. Welcome to the party. That's the way it goes.
I just wish it was merit. I just wish we just looked at movies and I can honestly sit here and say She Said is terrific.
Yes.
And it should be, up for Best Picture. And
Me too.
She should be up for Best Director or whatever. But
by the way, I'm part of a critics group. So when you're saying these things, I'm just like, I'm part of it. I get to vote. It's an honor to vote. I take it seriously. I don't like I've read about in other times. I don't hand it off to a fucking assistant to vote for me. Like I vote and it matters. I spent 3 hours yesterday voting on all our stuff because I wanted to make sure I looked at everything, looked at scenes, read reviews. I wanted to make sure, so.
What do you need to read reviews for?
Because because just like I do a show with Jeff Sneider, another person's point of view on a movie that I've already seen and I've reviewed myself or reviewed in my mind can get me to look at it in a different way, can get me think of other things. That's why I like to read other people's reviews, not only to keep myself sharp, but also to look at other perspectives, other points of views, people of color, women, white men. I read them all because I try to get as much perspective in my mind about a thing as I can. I'm open to it. Anyway, let's move on to best screenplay here for motion picture. Todd Field for Tar, Daniel Kwan, Daniel Scheinert for Everything All at Once, Mark McDonough for Banshees, Sarah Polley for Women Talking. There's a Sarah Polley nomination. Spielberg and Kushner for The Fablemans. What do you got here?
I got to go Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah, I think so too. Although I wouldn't be surprised if Spielberg won. Would you?
Yeah, a little.
Really? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I think it's Banshees or Tar there.
Really? Okay. Interesting. Yeah, because you know some of that dialogue in that movie isn't that great. You tell the truth. All right. Best original. Do you care about this? Best original score? Do you have thoughts on this? Carter Burwell, Banshees, Alexander Desplat for Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. It's a fantastic score. Hendrik Daughter for Women Talking, Justin Hurwitz for Babylon, John Williams for Fablemans.
I might say Women Talking gets the win, but I like Justin Hurwitz's score for Babylon.
Yeah, I thought that was a great score in Babylon.
Yeah,
I think Burwell's score in Banshees is great as well. I've been a fan of his since Miller's Crossing. It's a great fucking score there. Best original song, we can skip that. All right, let's move on. TV, best television series, drama.
Yeah, let's go quickly on these though.
Yeah, fine. Better Call Saul, The Crown, House of Dragon, Ozark, Severance in best television drama. No Andor here, but that's fine. I mean, these 5 are really good fucking shows. So
I'm going to say Severance.
Huh?
I'm going to say Severance.
Okay. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Severance. That's been the run here. Even though Better Call Saul is finally got nominated for the first time ever, I still think Severance wins as well. Best performance by an actress in a television series.
It's tough to predict the Globes because, again, of these new additions. So, like, how does this influx of people of color or whatever affect, things? So you can't just go off, well, they like this in the past,
Yeah. By the way, I didn't know there was a 5-6-figure salary to be part of the HFPA. I would have had different career goals.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just telling you, Jeff. I would have had different career goals when I came into this business in 2015. Best performance by an actress in television series drama: Emma D'Arcy for House of the Dragon, Laura Linney for Ozark, Imelda Staunton for The Crown, Hilary Swank for Alaska Daily, and Zendaya for Euphoria. The Swank thing I like Alaska Daily, even though it's a cheesy 10 p.m. mainstream primetime show, but I like her in it because she's a fucking great actress. The show may not be up to her level, but I was still surprised to see her get nominated. Who you got here?
Zendaya.
Really? From Euphoria?
Yeah.
I got Emma D'Arcy. Even though she only did half the season, I think they're going to give it to her. So.
Never watched an episode of that show. She could ring the doorbell right now. I'd have no idea who she is.
I know you would. Best performance by an actor in television series drama: Jeff Bridges for The Old Man, Kevin Costner for Yellowstone, first nomination for Yellowstone here in the Golden Globes, Diego Luna for Andor, Bob Odenkirk for Better Call Saul, Adam Scott for Severance.
I'm going to go Bob Odenkirk.
I'm going to go Jeff Bridges in a bit of a shock.
Okay.
I think he's fantastic in that show. You watched it, right?
I watched half of it.
Oh, Jesus. All right. Best TV series, musical comedy: Abbott Elementary, The Bear, which has been a sensation, Hacks, Only Murders in the Building, and Wednesday getting a nomination there from Netflix. What are your thoughts here? This is tough. This is a good category.
I think Abbott Elementary takes it.
I think The Bear takes it.
Nah.
Okay. Although I think Hacks is my favorite, might be my favorite show of the year. I think Only Murder's second season kind of was a little bit below the first season, in my opinion. Best performance by an actress, TV series, musical comedy: Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary, Kaylee Cuoco for The Flight Attendant, Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building, Jenna Ortega for Wednesday, Jean Smart for Hacks.
Oof. I'm gonna go with Quinta Brunson again.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Quinta. I'll go Quinta on this one. You know, the second season is always tougher, and I think she did a great job. Best performance by an actor in a television series, musical comedy. The first season of a show, the freshman season of a show is tough, especially when people don't know you that well as a creator. I think she did a great job. Best performance by an actor in TV series, musical comedy. Donald Glover, Atlanta. Bill Hader, Barry. Steve Martin, Only Murders. Martin Short, Only Murders. And Jeremy Allen White in The Bear.
This is where I can see them going with The Bear and Jeremy Allen White. So I'm gonna
go. Okay. Yeah. Although I do think this last season of Barry is the best performance Hader has done in the season, in any of the seasons. I do think they'll go for The Bear and Jeremy Allen White as well. All right, best TV limited series. Did you see all these? Blackbird, Dahmer,
yeah,
The Dropout?
What, this is an amazing category. Holy shit. All these shows were fantastic. I haven't finished The White Lotus season 2. I'm like dodging spoilers left and right on the internet today. It's been quite the battle. But I'm going to go with The White Lotus.
Yeah, I can't see them doing Dahmer. I'm going to go The Dropout. I think of these 5, that's been my favorite. I can't get into White Lotus, man. I don't get it. I don't get why people love that show.
Do you think The Dropout will win?
Yeah, I think The Dropout wins. Yeah.
Okay.
Best performance by an actress in a limited series here: Jessica Chastain, George and Tammy, Julia Gardner, Inventing Anna, Lily James, Pam and Tommy, Julia Roberts and Gaslit, Amanda Seyfried in The Dropout.
Amanda Seyfried in The Cakewalk.
Yep, agreed. Best performance by an actor in a limited series here: Taron Egerton in Blackbird, Colin Firth in The Staircase, Andrew Garfield Under the Banner of Heaven, Evan Peters for Dahmer, and Sebastian Stan for Pam and Tommy.
I don't know how you don't give it to Evan Peters.
I do. You give it to Andrew Garfield, who was incredible.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, my God. You're insane.
No. I listen, they're all good. I like Andrew Garfield on that show. But
yeah.
No, this is between Taron Egerton and Evan Peters.
Even with all the drama around, like I saw today, they pushed back Ryan Murphy and other about making the show against the family's complaints. You don't think they want to avoid that drama? Maybe not.
No, that's what I was getting at. But like, he's so good. I don't see how they don't give it to him.
Gotcha.
You're right in that it feels a little weird, which is why I think Taron Egerton could surprise. Oh. That's a great show. Did you watch that?
I watched Blackbird. It was good. It was really good.
Yeah, the others just didn't hit. Like The Staircase and Under the Banner of Heaven, those shows didn't really hit.
I like Toni Collette more than Colin Firth in The Staircase. Mm-hmm. Best performance by an actress in a supporting role in limited series: Coolidge in The White Lotus, Claire Danes in Fleischman is in Trouble. Come on with that show. Daisy Edgar Jones Under the Banner of Heaven, Niecy Nash for Dahmer, and Aubrey Plaza for The White Lotus. I gave up halfway through the first episode of Fleischman is in Trouble. I was like, I don't give a fuck what happens to anybody in this fucking show. So it's not my jam.
I'll go Coolidge again for The White Lotus just because I think they love her. But I reserve the right to change that if Plaza blows me away in the second half of the season.
Okay. I say Coolidge. I say Coolidge as well. All right, best performance by an actor in a supporting role. We got about 10 minutes left here. F. Murray Abraham, The White Lotus, Domino Gleeson, The Patient. Kind of a surprise, Jeff. You and I both like The Patient. Paul Walter Hauser for Blackbird, Richard Jenkins for Dahmer, and Seth Rogen for Pam and Tommy. How is Seth Rogen nominated for Pam? Do you think he deserved the nomination?
Yeah, I thought he was great. I did. I think he was the heart and soul of that whole show.
Okay.
On a pure technical base, like I think I would actually vote for Paul Walter Hauser, but I think Domhnall Gleeson wins.
Yeah, I think Domhnall Gleeson wins as well. I think there's a reason he was nominated from the show. They got no love anywhere else. I think they feel like he's a fantastic performer. Okay, best performance by an actress in a supporting role in the musical
but
comedy.
For the record, Paul Walter Hauser was way more terrifying
in the show. Yeah.
Like serial killers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude. Elizabeth Debicki in The Crown, Hannah Einbinder in Hacks, Julia Gardner in Ozark, Janelle James in Abbott Elementary, Sheryl Lee Ralph in Abbott Elementary. Of course, Sheryl Lee Ralph hadn't already picked up some awards for Abbott.
I'm going with Sheryl Lee Ralph.
Huh? You're going with Sheryl Lee? I'll go with Janelle James. She's been such a superstar on that show for 2 seasons now. And I know Sheryl gets the more, how can I say this? The more kind of the right role in terms of doing the right thing. Janelle James, just her performance to make her likable yet somehow also superficial, it's fantastic. So I would say Janelle. All right. Best performance by an actor in a supporting role in a musical comedy, drama, television series. John Lithgow in The Old Man. Jonathan Pryce in The Crown. John Turturro in Severance. Tyler James Williams in Abbott Elementary. And Henry Winkler in Body.
Henry Winkler Barry.
Yeah. Dude, this season, again, I loved this season of Barry. This is my favorite season of Barry. He was great this season just for that finale alone. That finale alone, what he pulled on Barry. Good God.
Again, I haven't watched all of Severance, so I'm curious where like all the Turturro stuff is going. But
okay, all right.
So yeah, that's where we're at for the Globes, Johnny. Sorry things got heated earlier. I just fundamentally
Why are you sorry? We do the show because we are both opinionated, East Coast guys, man.
Listen, I know we're brothers and we're cool.
Yeah. I got nothing but love for you, man. I always love to push. We have our opinions. I like that we go back and forth and we're friends at the end. It's a good lesson that we leave people with in life. You can fight with friends, family. You still make up at the end.
But I just listen. I wish that things were just merit based, and if that means 5 black women nominated, great.
Don't we all wish things were merit based? But it's not always that way. A lot of us hated seeing the Patriots win Super Bowls game after game after game. It wasn't really merit-based, but somehow they got it done. I mean, the Falcons 28-3. You didn't earn that fucking Super Bowl. The Seahawks not handing it off to Skittles. You didn't earn that fucking Super Bowl, but that's life. That's life. Listen, we got a real quick Streamlab that came through from Carol.
Yeah, where are all the Streamlabs today?
I know. What happened, people? I thought y'all would donate. We had almost 300 of you watching us live. How come there's been no love? But Carol says, tuning in late because I just got out of seeing Devotion. Even though I don't think they have a shot of winning in the categories, I'm glad to see Angela Bassett, Top Gun Maverick, Everything Everywhere All at Once, especially Wednesday, the series from Netflix, get nominations today. Yeah, I would agree with that, Carol. Absolutely. That they have no chance, but it's great to see them getting nominated for sure. What are your thoughts? Yes.
Was that it?
Yeah, that's all we have. No one said.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you guys were going to push back and pay to say horrible things about John or I, depending on which part of the argument you fell on.
Yeah, kind of surprising. People
save it for Thursday. We'll be back.
Yeah, we'll be back certainly to talk about everything that happened. But let us know what you thought about the categories. Let us know what you think about the nominations, who you think is going to win down in the comment section below. Who was snubbed that you were hoping to see get nominated? Who do you think took slot that you think did deserve to go to somebody else? Let us know. What are your thoughts on the fact that there are no female directors? And Jeff and I's battle about it throughout the show. Let us know your points of views on it down in the comment section below. Keep it civil or I will delete your comment. It's just how it is. I don't want assholes on here.
See a slot reserved, John? Would you ever want to see a slot reserved? Like there's going to be a female nominee every year, at least.
Ooh, no, because that's tokenism. I think I would never go that far. I don't think I would go that far.
Okay.
Yeah, I think no, because that seems weird to me. But
I'm just curious what the solution was.
I think the solution is to have a voting body that is much more representative of the people who are actually going to see these movies. And so I think the HFPA this year made some steps, but they weren't big enough steps, in my opinion. And I don't mean by the fact that they didn't get enough nominations for certain people. I mean, like, you're going to bring these critics in, but you're not going to pay them, but you're going to pay these other critics. And it's mostly almost all white that you're paying, but you're not paying the new people of color you brought in just to kind of give a cosmetic look of how you're being more inclusive. Work on that. That would be the next step. You know what? Hire me, pay me. I'll represent you as a minority or a person from a disenfranchised community.
What the F stands for in HFPA, John?
Foreign.
Yeah.
My parents are immigrants. I'm foreign. I think I should qualify for God's sake.
Foreign press. They don't write for U.S. outlets. They write for countries overseas. Each one of them represents a country.
Ooh.
You realize that,
All right. I'm going to send out to Bolivia and see if I can write for Bolivia or something. All right. Anyway, Jeff, where can they find you, man?
BTL News for Below the Line, AboveTheLine.com, LAMag.com. Got a review of Avatar coming in the morning, and The Ankler.
Good review of The Whale. I read it just like I read all reviews, Jeff Sneider. I read your review on The Whale. It was really good. So there you go.
So kind of dipped in quality in the middle. I can't keep going full blast the entire episode.
He doesn't have it like I do. All right. Anyway, As for me, you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, The Outlaw Nation on Twitch. Please subscribe to the channel down below. I'm so close to 25,000 subscribers, which was my goal this year. So please let's get past the 25,000 subscribers mark, start marching towards 30,000, 50,000 down the road.
It's never enough. It's not. We need world domination for the Rocha channel. Tell your cousins. We're so close to 25,000.
Please, for the love of God. But yeah, like Jeff said, we'll be back on Thursday with a full show of the Hot Mic. Don't forget to put that in your calendar. We'll let you know when that's happening. But we appreciate you all hanging out with us today. And if you want to send some thoughts and send some thanks, because you didn't send any Streamlabs during the show, there's a thanks button that you can hit on there at the bottom on YouTube and send in some support as well. Just giving you some love. All right, thanks everybody. We appreciate it madly. Y'all take care of yourselves and look for the Golden Globes happening in January and enjoy that ceremony. We'll certainly cover it after it happens there on the Hot Mic for sure, the results. All right, peace. Take care, everybody. See y'all.